What is up, everybody? Welcome to Theory Unlocked, episode 17. Of course, I'm Drew Mosley. Joining alongside me, as always, it is none other than Mr. Michael Fisher. Fish, what's happening, man?
Oh, not much. Excited. We got some big news today. Of course, little disappointed. I think you and I were really hoping to do maybe a blind reaction to a certain trailer today, but Take-Two had none of that. So instead, we'll just talk about how much things are costing these days, Drew.
Well, yeah, there's a lot to go on today. So thank you for joining us, first of all. If you haven't been here before, this is our Gamerz Theory podcast, Theory Unlocked, where we break down the biggest news topics in the gaming space, along with a bunch of what other we can kind of get up to. And sometimes we can feature a couple of guests here or there. I'm working on a couple more, Michael, and I can't quite reveal what's happening yet, but I got some leads on some things. So we're going to see what we can pull in that way. It's going to be a ton of fun. Always fun to have guests on the show. And of course, we always end off with the Indie Spotlight, where you and I each figure out which spotlight we want to kind of hone in on for an indie game and maybe keep your eyes on later on when it does release. And I've got a cool one today. Probably one nobody expected either. We'll see. But let's get into the breakdown of what's happening today, Michael, as we'll be talking about Ubisoft with Ghost Recon. What's going on there, right? Bungie in a big heap of trouble. We'll talk about that now because that just broke as of today as well. And then the topic of the show, we'll be talking about the Steam machine and all of the happenings around the GTA stuff. Because my goodness, there's a lot going on for GTA 6. And some of it we were hopeful and didn't happen. But yeah, we'll get to that. And then, of course, we'll end off with 2 indie spotlights. So, Michael, let's kick it into today's show. Let's talk about the news. I want to talk about Ghost Recon. What is happening? Because as of right now, it seems like they're in more trouble than they've ever been. And it's just continuing to spiral in this downhill slog of just Ubisoft issue after issue, right? So basically what's happening right now is, from what we've understanding, is Ghost Recon is being rebooted once again. So initially this was launched back in, man, it was a while ago at this point. I want to say 2017, 2018, maybe 2020, somewhere in around there. Either way, when Ghost Recon Frontline was revealed, nobody wanted that. Ubisoft saw that, went back to the drawing board and completely revamped it. And the struggle seems to have continued as there is a lack of direction. So that's getting worse. This Insider Gaming had the full scoop on it, but this is what they said within the article. We have it published over on our website as well. If you haven't checked out thegamerstheory.com or you checked out our Substack, thegamerstheory/Substack, you can check us out there. But what's going on is the scope of the game has been cut and greatly reduced, with many features stripped from the project, said one source. Michael, when you're cutting back on the scope of the game, you're cutting out features.
Many features. That's even more concerning.
And that's the biggest thing, right? Yeah. How many features are we talking about that we're going to be losing? Are we really losing that much in the end? Or is it just to reduce so they can get the game shipped and launch? Because now there's also a beta that's supposed to be set for this November, I believe it was September, somewhere in around there.
Somewhere in there, yep.
Other sources say that it's not even close to being ready. Dude, I'm worried about it's going to get canceled altogether, which Ubisoft seems to have a hard time doing because we're still, I'm calling it, Michael, waiting for Beyond Good and Evil 2, man. It's like
you would be on Good and Evil 2, man. I just don't think it's ever happening.
I'm one of the dying few holding on still. But how do you feel about this news?
I mean, it just feels like more Ubisoft news, right? I mean, it feels like I'm not talking about another company ever feels like you get good news out of, and Ubisoft's the other one, right? Like, it just never feels like anything that comes out of Ubisoft is good. I mean, what was that? They kicked off the year by like, hey, we're canceling 7 games. So yeah, it feels like nothing Ubisoft has touched in the last 2-3 years has done anything but get canceled, shut down, delayed. Yeah, I mean, to me, this, unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but this doesn't surprise me, man. Like, it just seems like everything they've done recently has just been a failure.
Which is so bizarre because they have so many studios, right? And we're coming up now on the brink of Black Flag Resync launching next month. And that's not that far off. And I just caught wind that there's 15 studios worked on that game. 15 studios. Jeez. Man, like, they have so many studios. I don't understand why they can't publish a game properly. Black Flag is going to be, it's funny because Black Flag's not from the ground up, but it's based off of a existing game, right? So it's not like it's a brand new IP that they're launching or the next iteration of Assassin's Creed. So it kind of just, man, what are you guys doing over here? I don't understand how you're taking so long. And then one of the people over at Warhorse mentioned that, man, they should be pumping out games left, right, and center compared to of the same scope of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on a yearly to every other year basis. And they cannot seem to do that whatsoever. Instead, they continue to struggle with development, with direction. The studio itself now is worried about layoffs. They're worried about crunch. They're worried, right? Like the list keeps climbing for Ubisoft. And it's unfortunate. But Michael, speaking of unfortunate, what do you got cooking?
Yeah, we talked about this. The speculation started last week for Bungie getting some layoffs, and those just came through right before we started the show. We don't have the numbers, right? Estimated was 50%. What we do know, most of the Destiny team released, which there's no game, right? Like, I don't know what else you could be doing. So, unfortunately, that would make sense. Some of Marathon is also going to be getting cut, is the word on the street, which
doesn't help that game.
No, that is not good either. We also learned that their studio head, who just took over last year, he's stepping down. So it looks like a complete redesign here at Bungie. But again, we talked about this last week. I don't ever want to say layoffs are a good thing, especially in our industry, but you have an 800-person studio. You have one active title. You have 0 titles in development that we know of, which means if they're in development, they're super far behind. This was coming. So, unfortunate. Again, we'll have to see if that 50% number is true. I mean, again, if you were on the Destiny team at Bungie, I feel like you kind of had to know this was coming because your game got shut down. So, we'll have to see. And speaking of Marathon, Drew, this was going to be my original news piece until this broke. They're adding a full PvE mode now. They have officially they're trying everything, right? It's coming in the mid-season. I believe July 21st, they're going to have a full PvE mode. We'll see if it can work. And I got a question for you, Drew. They leaked the Season 3 date in their blog post, September 22nd. Do you think Marathon makes it to Season 4?
No. I don't. Man, if they're laying off right now, right? So Bungie's getting cut in half because they don't have anything in production that we're aware of, right? You have to think everybody now is kind of going, damn, we should get on Destiny 3 and start building that property up again, because Destiny's their bread and butter, where Marathon is just tanking, right? So when you get Season 3, will you get Season 4? Why would you when there's no numbers? Again, like we did this last week, Michael. I'm going to do it again because I just find it so fascinating to me. Granted, Steam is not the place to go, right? Steam for Marathon is more or less the console extraction game, we'll call it. But still, it doesn't hold a candle to Arc Raiders. Like, that's the other thing, right? Let me see where their numbers are at as of right now, because last time we talked, now this is mid-afternoon, right? For us, for those who are joining us live here on Substack. But it's concerning that mid-afternoon, your game is currently hovering. What do you mean it's unable to find it? Man, it's not even on there anymore. They just took it off. They don't like Marathon at all. But it only had some like, what was it,
like
15?
When I looked yesterday, it was 10,000 peak.
Was it? Okay.
The last 24 hours. Yeah.
Yes. So, and that's concerning, right? Like, that is very, very concerning when you're looking at that. Yeah, I can't even find Marathon on the radar here. It's funny when I go here, though. There it is. Hang on. So where are we currently at? There's 6,300 people on Steam playing Marathon, right? Dude, that's not good. That is not good numbers. All-time peak was at 88. The last 24 hours, it peaked at 9,000. So we're not even breaking 10K anymore, and you're hovering around 7 currently. I'd say closer to 6, actually. So that's a concern going into the future of Marathon. Yeah, they're going to put in PvE. I think you're too little too late. I think coming in at a $40 price tag was the mistake they made right there. I get it gets the hardcore in versus like all the cheaters and all that kind of stuff. We want to come into a free-to-play game. But do you think, Michael, that they would have had more success going free-to-play than making people pay for the game at $40?
Yeah, I think it feels like for the extraction shooter genre, and, you know, Arc Raiders the exception. I'm going to talk about a game later that is maybe going to be the exception, right? It feels like you want to just go free-to-play, just microtransaction it to hell, right? Get your store cosmetics in. Do as many things to get the people who enjoy the game to show off they enjoy the game, but just give that freedom eventually. I think for Marathon, right, for Season 2, they did a free player weekend, I think it hit 40,000 players. And then the moment the game was, hey, you got to pay for, boom, back down to 10,000, right? So again, new season, right? Are all 30,000 of those people going to stick? Hard to say, but yeah, I think really, I mean, we've talked about this, with the hero shooter genre, with some of those games that have failed in the last year, right? Like, it is a genre where you need to go either $15, $20 max or free to play. Marathon doesn't fit into any of those. By the way, Drew, right now on Steam, Destiny 2, 64,000 players.
Like, that's the telling on the wall right there, right? Like, why are you shutting down a game that is successful versus trying to make a game survive that is not hitting the numbers, it's not peaking where it needs to go? So, man, they did it backwards, Michael. They should have shut down Marathon and just continued with Destiny 2 until Destiny 3 was ready. Man, I'd love to be over there or a fly on the wall over a PlayStation and over a Bungie to find out, what are you guys thinking? What is your newfound direction? And what are you doing next to then keep your studio alive? Yeah, we've heard rumors that 50% of the people have been cut. Herman Hall said it's a necessary evil today. Like, that's...
You have one game. You have one game. At the end of the day,
horrible.
You cannot support a studio of 800 people on one game. There's not enough work to be done on Marathon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, necessary evil is the right word. I mean, again, Destiny 3 can't be close because we don't know about it.
No.
The people who we get our news from don't know about it. So, yeah, I mean, this is just we were making fun of Ubisoft, and Bungie the last 3-4 years have just been maybe the case study in how not to run a studio.
It's heartbreaking because you go from Halo, huge successful title, into Destiny 1, which hit hard, but still had a couple of hiccups, but they ironed out for Destiny 2, which hit even harder and built a huge fan base. And then, where's 3? Like, I'm just shocked that there's no 3 in the pipeline yet, in the conversation of, hey, we can show you a trailer of 3. Here you go. This is why you're going to be excited. So here's Marathon for a little bit until Destiny 3 launches, right? Like, even if they put Destiny 3 into early access, they'll still have more people play that than they will on Marathon. Like, it's just mind-blowing, man.
Easily.
Oh, man. It's just so heartbreaking for all the people that worked on these games to suddenly no longer have a job, right? Now they're going to be fighting everybody else in this industry who will continue to get laid off, who continue to try to stick around in this industry to pay the bills. Like, it's just mind-blowing how many people now in studios no longer have a job. Ubisoft is talking about more layoffs, right? Xbox, we've heard everything, but I think almost now, what I saw this morning, I believe, is Double Fine is done. Like, dude, that's a 30-plus year studio. What do you mean they're done? Like, oh my God, man. So, yeah, our industry is it's in a rough spot right now. But I think poor planning also has some weight when it comes down to taking a look at the IPs, taking a look at your properties, and taking a look at your development timeline, and focusing on where you should be versus where you are. So, I don't know. PlayStation's got a lot of work right now, because when you take a look at 2026, as far as PlayStation goes, what do they have? They had Soros, right? Which came and went. They got Wolverine coming up. And I'm out. Right? Like, that's really about it. So, the funny thing is, the biggest PlayStation IP that's sold this year is Ghost of Yote, which is a 2025 title. So, it's...
Yeah, not good.
What is going on? Now, granted, I think once Wolverine drops, we're going to be in a different conversation come September, right? But at the same time, for the majority of 2026, PlayStation hasn't had a 2026 banger as of yet. And we're like 6 months in. How is that even a fathomable idea when you talk about the big three? When you talk about Xbox, you talk about PlayStation, you talk about Nintendo. The first 6 months of 2026 have kind of been dry.
It's not been good, but we knew it from the start, though, right, Drew? We knew everybody was basically taking 2026 off.
Yeah.
Because of what we're going to talk about next.
Well, and that's the biggest elephant in the room, right? You want to jump into it? Let's jump into GTA 6 because that's
perfect transition.
That is, dude, it is money. It is. Wow, there's been a lot of stuff going down about GTA 6 from the Ultimate Edition to being just a code. There's no disc at launch to the release window that I just kind of broke this morning of a possibility of when the GTA Online could come in. So there's a couple things that, yeah, we are heavily focused right now on GTA 6, just like the rest of the industry. And so are the studios around it, because nobody wants to get caught in this wake of GTA 6. Even during the marketing portion throughout the summer for GTA 6, people are still running scared, Michael.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're like, I think we start with the one thing you didn't mention, just because I've seen so much discourse on it online. We talked about it for years, and that's the official price, right?
Yeah,
so much speculation, right? $100, first $100 game. How much could they charge? People arguing they could charge $150 with how much content there's going to be. They eventually settle on $80 US for the standard edition. I know that goes up wherever you are, but that's the price that I know. So I'll say $80 and then $100 for the Ultimate Edition. End of the day, Drew, what are your thoughts on that, right? Is that expected? Are you worried that that's now the first trendsetter of our entire industry bumping up to $80? Where are you on the GTA price tag before we get into anything else?
So let me break it down for you in Canadian dollars.
It's not going to be pretty, I know.
It's not even fucking close. Standard edition is 110. The Ultimate Edition is 160 tax in.
Oh,
dude! So I put up a short this morning talking about this, and I've been getting a lot of feedback. There's no doubt people are on it, right? So yeah, it's been Is it a standard? Let's answer that question first. I don't think so, because this is Rockstar, and Rockstar can do whatever the hell they want, right?
Yeah.
But there are definitely other studios that can't do this. Bungie couldn't do this, right? I don't even think Naughty Dog could do this right now for Intergalactic. Like, I think they have to stay. Most of the games in Canada, when they're first launched brand new, say like a Ghost Recon in 2025, would launch around the $90, $80 mark. So that's okay, but then they get the Ultimate Edition, and here's the kicker part for the Ultimate Edition. Normally, it's like a $20 increase. All right, cool. Man, this isn't just $20. This is like a hefty price tag that goes up. But they're locking content behind the Ultimate Edition. That's the killer part, right? So no longer do I even look at the Standard Edition and go, hey, maybe, like, do I really care about getting a customized gun skin or a different hat or a car or whatever, right? Like, whatever. Who cares? But when you start locking content on me, that's the issue, Michael. Where do you stand there?
That is the one I want to talk about. I do want to say, Drew, you said it's only because it's Take-Two. The first $70 game, which is now the standard, I just looked it up, NBA 2K21.
Which is Take-Two.
Take-Two took us to 70. I'll be very curious if Take-Two now takes us to 80. I'm with you. I could see a couple people trying to match this. I could actually see Intergalactic trying to say we're going to do 80, and I could see games flopping, and then people being like, oh, all right, GTA was GTA. But, no, I think this is the thing that actually makes me the most upset. I know there's a lot of discourse online. We're going to get to all of the stuff. But I think, to me, what made me the most upset was certain stores being locked unless you buy the Ultimate Edition, right? Certain tattoo shops, certain salons, right? Just make those locked options in every salon. I'm okay with that. But the moment you started making, as you said, the world feels smaller because I didn't pay the extra money for the Ultimate Edition, that's where you really start to lose me. And I think it's me is what I'm the most upset about when all these GTA announcements came out. It just feels so scummy. And of course they know they can get away with it. I think I would be really curious. I would love for one of these companies to eventually come out and post a split between standard and ultimate. I would assume most gamers are just going ultimate just because I want to get everything. You know, they'll just say it's only $20, $30 more. I support the company, whatever. Because that's to me where they started to lose me, Drew. I'm like, I understand I'm not going to get everything when I buy the standard edition. I get that I'm losing out on stuff.
Sure.
When I'm going to have to drive past a store that's closed, that is where I really start to say, man, I think we're getting a little bit too far with this.
No, we're getting hosed, man. Like, this doesn't feel right at all. It feels very dirty to have content already in the game and then lock it away. Like, why would you do that? It reminds me of Ubisoft back in the day when I was playing Assassin's Creed multiplayer. They would lock certain maps. So you'd have to buy that map to unlock it. But then all of a sudden they started splitting the player base. Granted, GTA 6, this portion anyways, is single player content. So does it really affect me overall from everybody else? No. But at the same time, does piss me off because that content is there in the game. It's right there. We can see it. When you drive by, like you say, right, the shop is locked. I'm like, what the hell is that? Why would you do that? Because they can, because they're greedy. Here's the catch though, Michael. Pre-orders went live this morning at midnight. 39 million pre-orders as of right now. Approximately $3 billion is where they're sitting at already, just in pre-orders, man. In pre-orders. I'm like, you still have months to lead up to the final launch of this game, and you're gouging us on locked content? Like, you're the biggest IP in the world. You shouldn't have to do this whatsoever. That is a scummy move, man. It's frustrating, Michael. So frustrating. Because, who else follows suit now, right? Ubisoft? EA? Like, just wait. Just wait. There is a ramification for this. Every action has a consequence. We're going to see what the consequence comes out of this. Because it's not going to be just Rockstar who's going to try it now. It's going to be everybody else to follow suit, like you say. But there is definitely some studios that wouldn't stand a chance in hell pulling this off. But at the other side of it, like, man, who else now? When a game I'm looking forward to, like, say, Wolverine, all of a sudden says, well, if you want this, this, and this, you got to pay the extra. If you want that extra map or you want that, I'm like, man, when you're this big, Michael, this big of an IP, you don't need to gouge people. We're already lined up at your door. Yeah. But everybody still, as much as I'm complaining, guess who's buying that freaking edition? I am. I'm still going to get it. But here's the catch. So I put up a short this morning saying why I'm not buying GTA 6 on PS5. I was going PS5. I want the DualSense Edge controller. I love that controller. I think it's smooth. I love the way it feels in my hand. The haptic feedbacks. The PS5 controller is awesome to me. So I was going GTA 6, PS5. Until this news broke this morning, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm not paying $160 over on PlayStation. Because if you're in the rewards program for Xbox, you gain points. And the more points you get, you can cash in. By the time I pre-order GTA 6, I'll have half of it already paid for by Xbox with the rewards program. So that's how I'll be getting it, because I'm not paying $160. Technically I am, but in the same sense, I've been saving through the rewards program that I tap on every single day, dude. I had visions of buying something else until this came out. I was like, because I was going to buy GTA. We're all buying GTA 6. Like, everybody's going to buy it. But what edition now are you going to? There's no collector's edition yet. So let's briefly talk about that, Michael. There are collectors out there. As you look behind me, I got the figures to boot, right? Like, it's one of my passions. I love collecting these things. What do they launch for the collector's edition, and how much do you think it'll be?
I mean, I would assume usually collector's edition usually pushes about $40-50. So I'm thinking about 150 US, I would think, for a collector's edition. So probably that would be, I don't know, the
200 Canadian, 210.
Yeah, I would say north of 200 Canadian probably is what I would assume. I will say, I mean, I'm not a collector. I'm not like you. Never been my thing. But a lot of these games, when the collector's edition comes out, they've just been bad, right? I mean, like Fallout, I remember there was a whole thing about that. Like, the quality of these collector's bundles over time have not really gotten better. They've almost gotten more sleazy and cheaper, right? So I do kind of hope I hope these collectors don't get screwed over. But yeah, I'm guessing 150, right? Because usually they make it so you get the Ultimate Edition as well, right? So kind of that's like the baseline. So yeah, that would be my guess. $150. You'll get, probably an upgraded version of whatever you got for the GTA 5 Collector's Edition. I think the big one, Drew, just go off of collectors, right, is the physical disc, right? And where are you on this, right? Because this is where a lot of people are like,
Okay, so I understand, right? So we talked to Brad from Northern Nerdcast a lot, and he's like, man, he's like not a chance. Without that physical being in his hand, he's not playing GTA 6. I'm like, dude, you're missing out. First of all, I'm such a digital guy now in this day and age that I couldn't fathom the amount of cases. I'd have walls of cases, right? Just like I no longer
Some
want to
people think
do
that looks cool though, right?
Absolutely.
Instead of those figurines behind you,
I
they
got
like their
these.
games stacked up. Yeah.
Which I can appreciate, but at the same time, here's why I agree with this. Because there are so many people out there that would leak the shit out of this game when they got it early. That Rockstar is holding it close to their chest and going, screw you guys. We're digital only, so when you buy the game, you can pre-order right now. You open up your game case, and it's a code so that everybody goes live at the exact same day, at the exact same time, and nobody leaks anything. That's why they did this. So I can appreciate that, because how many times do people get spoiled because somebody's an ass and leaked information, right? They leaked this, they leaked that. They just ruin it all, right? Not only do they ruin it for other players, but they ruin it for the studio that has worked on it for so long and worked on it for so hard, time away from their family, this, that, and the other, that it hurts them as well, right? There's more to it than just, hey, you're only getting a digital code. Now, in December, to counter this, Rockstar is launching a physical edition. You just can't play it day one with everybody else because they want it to ship it out after the game's been launched. That way, that's where a lot of these leaks come from. They'll go to these stores, they know somebody, they'll get in, they'll take the code, they'll take the game, take it home, put it in. Hey, look, I'm already playing GTA 6, suckers. Look at this bit of the story beat, right? So-and-so dies. Didn't know that was coming, did you? Now you do. And you're like, shit. Like, you just ruined that for me, right? How many people got ruined? Spoilers for The Last of Us Part 2. If you haven't caught this yet, this is how old of a game now? So
it's like 10, yeah.
Yeah, right?
You're too late at this point.
But when Joel died in The Last of Us Part 2, that was a huge spoiler that people were posting left, right, and center, and people were furious. It's such a pivotal moment within the game. You need to experience those moments for yourself. Mm-hmm. Not always the case, right? Rockstar's doing their best to counter that by going codes only. This comes later. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on PC for so long, like I can't remember the last time I had a game that had a disc, right? Because I've made the full transition to PC. Anytime we get an Xbox game, for review, it's always on a code, right? So yeah, for me, it's just like it's one of those nostalgia things, right? Yes, do I remember having my game stacked up in my room and being able to switch cases? Was it cool? Yeah, yes, I get the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like when I'm on my Xbox. I'm like, I don't want to play MLB The Show today. All right, play a little bit. All right, you know what? Actually, I'm feeling like swapping over to Warhammer. I saw there was a new update. Boom, one button. I don't have to stand up. I don't have to hunt my disc down. I don't have to do any of that. I just plug and go, right? So I do kind of appreciate the ease of how you move over. So yeah, I'm not hurting for this at all. I've seen some people even say that, once the physical disc comes out, how is it going to work, right? Most physical discs, at least again, these are from the armchair experts. I don't know how true this is. I think people say, like, they can only hold 100 gigs. This game's 300 gigs. Are we going to have to go back to the days
I heard it's 6.
Yeah, 3 separate, however many separate discs, like that you have to plug in? Like, I don't know how that is even going to work with a physical disc, right? Unless, again, maybe that 100 gigabyte feature that disc can hold it is wrong. So, yeah, to me, I don't really care. The one comment I have seen, and I don't know where your thoughts. You're not a big Nintendo guy, right, Drew? Nintendo got just put out in the woodshed for their machine keys that they kind of transitioned over to. But GTA's doing the same thing, and there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, either like you, I don't want to get spoilers, or hey, it makes sense. So I've seen a lot of kind of Nintendo fanboys a little upset, like, you guys absolutely just destroyed Nintendo for machine keys, and now Take-Two does it, and everyone's like, oh, well, that makes sense, yeah? So that is like I've seen the biggest complaint is Nintendo fans like, we've had this for years, and you guys said it was terrible. Like, why is it all of a sudden cool now? That would be the only comment I'd... Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of Rockstar fans. But that would be the only thing I've seen that some people have pointed out, like, guys, why were we making fun of Nintendo and then just giving Take-Two and Rockstar a pass? But, yeah, I've never been a disc guy. I roll my eyes every time I see someone. I'm like, I can't believe there's not a disc. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, to me, I might not even get the game day one because I want it on my PC. Right? So, and I'm never going to have a disc on my PC. So,
how long do you think you're going to have to wait for GTA 6 to come to PC?
Probably a year, right? That was how long GTA 5 took? Yeah, I would think a year. Maybe they move it up. Maybe they make the exception because, as you said, there's already, $3 billion worth of pre-orders, probably going up by
Oh,
the
yeah.
millions. You know, it probably went up a couple 100 million by the time this podcast gets done. So, yeah, I think I could see maybe 6 months. I could see a world, and I think, you know, as you mentioned, you kind of have done some digging, and I want to hear your timeline. But I could see a online PC kind of dual launch, right? I don't know if in this world you want the PC players to be that far behind. So I can see a world if maybe like you have speculated, Drew, that online 6 months out, that PC maybe gets their launch in 6 months. But why don't you tell the people what you have been digging into about when we might be
Yes.
getting GTA 6 online?
So I was looking at the GTA 6 pre-orders, right? And in it, off to the side and kind of somewhat finer print than others, it says when you order the deluxe edition, you get a month worth of GTA Plus. Now, for those who don't know, GTA Plus is their online subscription to GTA Online, which grants you access to $500,000 every month, new cars, new this, new that, and then a plethora of other things, right? That's bundled in, Michael, with the Ultimate Edition. Now, the little caveat is you need to validate this code within 180 days. This is my catch. That's where I was like, so that's telling me we're going to have a window of GTA 6 single player, and then we will see GTA 6 online launched, or GTA Online 2.0, or whatever they want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So when becomes the biggest question. That's the 6 months, 180 days. They put in this number to kind of give you a brief window of, if I don't know who else caught this, right? I just happened to catch it. So if that's the case, GTA 5 launched, and within about 2 weeks or so after, GTA Online launched. So are we going to get 2 weeks, a month? We're definitely going to be in that 6 month window. So early. So let's say, so we get the game November 19th.
Yeah.
You got to figure people are going to be getting it for Christmas over the holidays, right? And then we get into January. Then we get into February, which is already heating up. Here's my prediction. They launched GTA Online in February. So that all those games that are in February, you might want to take a deep look at where else you could be. Because I think that's when they drop it. And then they flood the market once again. You've had 3 months to play GTA 6. You should be well done this campaign. I say that, but I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, yeah, man. Oh, we never even got into what we're playing, but we can talk about that another time. There's a lot to talk about today as it is. Yeah. So, yeah, it's that's my guess is probably February, because it gives people who are getting on day one to jump in and just kind of play in that world, live out the experience, live the story. And then everybody who comes in at Christmas time to then do the same thing with the ability to capture all those moments, reshare all those moments. Hey, I got GTA 6 for Christmas. I just did this, this, and this. Look at the screenshot I took. Here, look at the video I have. Look at this, look at that, look at that. So you get it in January, and then mid-February, boom, here's GTA Online 2.0. And everyone's like, oh, shit, let's go. And everybody just jumps in. They crash the servers. Nothing works on day one. And then you just go back to the single-player game. What do you think?
I think you are being too cautious here. I think we're going to get GTA Online within a month of release.
Yeah,
and it's quite simple. You mentioned it in your article. You were talking about when you were kind of diving into the release. We saw this when we had those GTA leaks. $1.3 million per day, Drew. That is how much money Rockstar makes on GTA Online.
Yeah.
Still on GTA 5, a 10-plus-year-old game. There is no world I see them wanting to delay GTA Online for more than a month at max, because that is a lot of money. And I think that number is going to be very, very big and a lot higher for the first few months. So I would say December, maybe even at the latest, right? Like, I could see them trying that 2 weeks again. But again, every month you let it go, or every day you don't have GTA Online. Again, $1 million you're just throwing away, at least. So yeah, I would say by December, I think at the latest is when we're going to get it. Kind of would make sense to maybe coincide, as you said, with that Christmas kind of sales, right? Hey, GTA Online is going to go live December 19th, right? Get it early for the holidays, get that Ultimate Edition, right? They start, so I think December at the latest. I just don't see Rockstar again. They're nickel and diming us over cosmetics and open stores. They want that money as fast as they can. So yeah, I would say December. I would say the only reason I don't think we're going to get it on launch, I think they would have mentioned it, right? I think when you were talking about that fine print, it probably would have mentioned like GTA Online is. So I don't know if they have a date fully figured out, but I would be shocked if it goes over a month because again, you're just wasting $1 million a day if you don't have it up.
Well, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but do you think people still jump into, so they complete the campaign at 6, do they jump back into online for 5? Will they wait for 2.0 to come? Do they even consider that? Or you're so now on the next stage of GTA, you're like, man, I don't want to go back. Like, that's where I'm at right now. I'm not going back to GTA 5 in any capacity until GTA 6 is out. That's my leap. I am done. I have hundreds of hours into GTA 5. I don't need to spend another minute in that world. I need to spend it in the new one. That's where I'm honing in on, right? So your 2-week month window, you're probably right, Michael, when you think about it financially from a business perspective. They want that money. And yeah, when you're making $1.3 million a day off of GTA Online right now to this very freaking minute, why would you want to lose that? Oh, man.
I think a lot of people it's going to be like, all right, beat GTA 6, maybe, explore as much as you can. And yeah, I could see like within about 2 weeks, right? Yeah, there's going to be the degenerates who beat the game in a day and where's online. But I think once you give people that 2-week window, it's going to be like, all right, man, like I missed GTA 5 online. That's where I had a lot of my hours, right? So yeah, I think 2 weeks to a month and we're going to lock in, we're going to have GTA Online. And then for the PC version, maybe the PC version, right? Maybe that's the February, March, right? Find that month where it basically is going to be a second set of sales. You're going to have people like myself who are still on the fence if they want to get it on console or just save it for PC. Yeah. You're going to have people who are going to do, the buy it on Xbox and then I'm going to buy it on my PC because I have a nicer PC, but I don't want to miss out on day one. So, yeah, really, this is going to be like, when do they want a second release day is whenever we get the online. I would say, or not the online, the PC. I think the PC release comes within 6 months, though. I really don't think they want to wait a year because, again, it's free money, man. You put it on PC, you're going to get millions of billions of sales.
Well, and they've got the whole role-playing community as well sitting there waiting at their fingertips to jump in, right? Like, why would you want to delay them any further than you have to? Because, again, that's more money that adds into that $1.3 million you make every day. So, it's an interesting take. But speaking of console and PC, Michael, the Steam Machine finally revealed the price tag. So, for the 512 gigabyte version, actually not even half, because there's 2 versions, 512 and then 2 terabytes. So here's the catch: Canadian 512 is $1,500. The 2 terabyte is $2,000.
Oh,
I'm like, not happening. I was like, man, this looks like a cool device. Now I wait for Project Helix to see where that really stands. Right? We've been talking about this over the last couple episodes. Where are we lining up here with Project Helix versus the Steam Machine? These are the 2 current competitors. We don't have official details of the Project Helix, but we don't really know where PlayStation's at either, which is something I'm kind of keeping an eye on and ear open for to see where their next direction is for PS6. Do they want to incorporate PC? I doubt it because they just took themselves off of PC. So, at least for the single player stuff. But when you talk about the Steam Machine, and then I saw somebody post, you can't even run Forza Horizon 6 on low settings on the Steam Machine. I'm like, dude, if you can play Forza Horizon 6 on the Xbox Series S, and it looks outstanding. It's freaking amazing on the Series X. Like, I love the game. I got a full review up on the website. You can go check that out. I believe it's on our Substack as well. Man, like, there are huge opportunities here, and then you can't even meet benchmark of this. Is very worrisome, especially for the price tag they want to come in at. Where are you at with the Steam Machine?
Yeah, you and I were talking about this, just for our friends, my brothers to the south of you, Drew. $1,050 for the 512 in the US, $1,350 for the 2 terabyte in the US. I messaged you. I talked to a buddy who messaged me about this as well,
Yeah.
right? Xbox is jumping for joy, man. We've talked about this so much. Where does the Helix come in?
Yep.
Rumors, oh, this is going to be $1,200 console, but again, it might be able to run Steam depending on if they can get that licensing. It should be able to run PC games, and they're absolutely thrilled with this price. I think this is crazy. Again, you could buy a gaming PC that performs better than the Steam machine for the same or cheaper, and guess what? You can play things that aren't on Steam. I understand 90% of the PC games are on Steam. I get that.
Sure.
But there's still a few holdovers, right? You've still got your BattleNets, you've still got your Epic Game Stores, right? I can play all those on a PC that gives me better performance than what the Steam machine can offer. Yeah, this thing is ridiculous, right? I get the Steam Deck because of the mobility. I never understood the hype around the Steam machine. I never understood why would I want to pay for a console that basically locks me onto Steam when I have a PC that I can have Steam and then do anything else on, right? So,
Sure.
again, I think the Xbox is pumped about this news because if the Helix can come in at like $200 more, right? Which, yes, I get it. You go to the store up in Canada, you see $2,200 for the Helix. You're like, whoa, that's too much.
Oh my God.
But again, you have to remember, this can play every Xbox game and it can play all of your Steam games, right? I think the Helix value just shot through the roof, assuming they get Steam, which again is sort of the big caveat. Do you let Xbox run your software when you have your own console you're trying to compete against them with? But yeah, the price here is freaking ridiculous, man. I don't get it. Who is buying this? I know there's all, I know the internet always jokes about the Steam fanboys who love Gabe, but like, you could just buy a better PC for this much money.
So I saw this morning, I caught wind of the Steam machine was initially looking to be a $700 price tag until the shortage of parts went up and drove the price right through the freaking roof, right? And this is where we're at because of this price increase of hardware and specs and stuff like that. But the specs are lower and not as hard hitting when it comes to certain things, right? So and I got called out on it before. I'm like, man, go do your research. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I've seen the evidence. It doesn't run freaking Xbox games. So it's a little concerning when you're paying this exorbitant amount of money when you could almost get a decent PC for that price, which then unlocks a plethora of opportunities for a multitude of things. So why would you want to lock in on a Steam machine? But I wanted to get the Steam machine, put it next to my Xbox and PlayStation, and beam it, connect it to my TV, and away I go. Not now, Michael. Yeah. Not a freaking chance, man. Am I going to do that? But when you talk about Xbox, here's a huge opportunity. Now, the question is, what's the conversation look like between Valve and Xbox right now? That's where I'm more curious to see why, if you're trying to push the Steam machine, would you allow Steam to be on your competitor's hardware?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing it would really make sense is if the Steam machine flops, right? And they go, well, crap, all right, we didn't get the sales that we wanted. Can we now get those Xbox players who we aren't having access to, right? I think that is the only one. Or if you're Xbox, maybe you kind of use Epic as a negotiation tool, right? Hey, if you guys don't say yes, we're going to get Epic, right? And I get it. If you're on PC, you understand Steam's superior. But if you're just an Xbox guy, a console guy who doesn't really game on their PC, and all of a sudden you go, oh, I can play on Epic. Okay, Epic, I think, all right, I'm going to learn how to use the Epic Game Store because it's on my Xbox Helix.
Sure.
Whatever about Steam, right? I think that is kind of where the big question is that console market of players, and I think it's a lot larger than people really ever want to give it credit for, who don't own a gaming PC. They play on their Xbox or their Xbox every single night. Is that market large enough to then say, okay, we're going to open up our entire library to these guys, and they're going to see games that they can't even believe are there. They're going to be able to play old classics that they can't get on their Xbox, right? That, I think, is Xbox marketing push. This is how many console gamers don't have a gaming PC. This is how many new customers you could have. And if, by the way, you say no, Epic is at our door ready to sign on. I think that is how you get Steam onto this. And if the Steam machine doesn't sell well, which I really don't see who is paying. Again, I just looked it up for fun, Drew.
Yeah.
I can get a $1,000 gaming PC with a 50-50.
Man, it's better than mine.
Yeah, better mine too. For $1,000.
That's insane, right? So why wouldn't you get that versus buying the Steam machine?
And I understand pre-builds. They've gotten a lot better. I know there are people
Yeah.
who will hold their nose up to pre-build. So build your own. Yes, so you can get better value if you build your own. But I could walk into Best Buy today and get $1,000 PC that could probably run Forza on ultra giga high while running another window of Forza on ultra high at the same time for $200 less than the Steam machine that can't even run Forza on low. I don't see who the market for the Steam machine really is. $700 makes sense. $1,400, this game needs to run everything on high. And as you said, Drew, it doesn't even sound like they can run them on freaking low.
Yeah, it's really disheartening, right? I would have loved to have seen it come in at the $700 price tag, and that would have been US, which wouldn't have put us up to around the $1,000. I also saw Xbox is increasing their freaking price as of
I just saw that as well.
August 1st. I was like, you gotta be shitting me, man. So the Series S is gonna go up by $100, and then the X is going up by $150. I'm like, this is bull.
They're also they're sunsetting the 2 terabyte as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, what are you guys doing? GTA 6 is gonna take up half my hard drive at least. So like
that's the other thing about consoles that I can't, that just worries me, and makes me want to wait for my PC is like, I've got MLB The Show on there. I've got a couple other games on my, on my console, and I'm like,
yeah,
bro, I can't fit. Oh, I have like 10 games and they don't all fit.
Yep.
Like, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive on my computer. Boom, I can put just every single half the Steam library, it feels like. I mean, that's not true, but literally any game I need, I have like 200 games on Steam and I still have like a terabyte left. So it's one of those where it's just like the storage difference between console. That's, I think, where Helix is really, really going to have to figure out, how do we let people store
cloud
all of these Steam games, right? Yeah, that I think is where they really need to nail it, because as you said, GTA 6 is going to take up half of it.
Dude.
If Modern Warfare 2 comes in like or Modern Warfare 4, comes in like anything else we've seen from Activision and Call of Duty over the last year, I'm going to be able to have 2 games on my Xbox, Call of Duty and GTA, which, to be fair, there's probably about 500,000 people in the world who would be happy with that, and maybe they need Madden or 2K, right? If they can fit those 3 titles on, they'd be happy, right? Those people, make up a big chunk of the sphere, but man, you keep getting smaller and smaller hard drives, and the games keep getting bigger, Drew. I don't know how they all fit. It's like they're competing against each other. Right, that's really what I feel. You're talking about GTA like, oh, they'll release in February, whatever. No, they're going to release at 500 gigs, so I can't even have another game on my damn console.
I don't think Steam Machine sells at the end of the day. I love the Steam Deck. I think the Steam Deck is an incredible device. I'm fortunate. I have the OLED version, and it is pretty, and it runs smooth, and things work most the time, right? There's certain games you're like, I cannot play on the Steam Deck because it is so freaking small of a screen that it's just not meant for it, right? So that's where I was hoping that it would open up the opportunity to then bring it to the PlayStation or to my TV, like a PlayStation or Xbox, with the Steam Machine device. Instead, they completely outpriced it for me and a ton of other people, right? I don't hear many, if at all, people bragging about or hyping up the Steam Machine. They're just everybody's stuck on the price, which is fair, because at the end of the day, in our economic times of uncertainty, like, man, the last thing I'm doing is spending $2,000 on a freaking Steam Machine. It's insane, Michael. Absolutely insane. When do you think? So have they actually haven't even given us a date. You can just pre-order the device, and then they're shipping it out whenever they're able to. Like, they don't even have the demand right now, apparently, to reach everybody that is looking to get the device. So there's definitely people who are going to buy it. They want to know. They want to be in on it and be able to talk about it. Granted, good for you guys. I wish I could do the same. Not happening, though. When do you think we actually hear the proper numbers about this? Or launch is so bad that Valve just washes it under the rug?
There's people out there who, they know how to get the numbers. I think by around Christmas time, I think we'll have the numbers, right? Unless, of course, it's not out by Christmas time. As you said, we don't even have a window. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say about 5-6 months after launch, those numbers will start to come in. And I don't think they will be good. As you said, the price, the value, like, I really don't see, unless you're just a Steam super fan, which those exist, and that's almost like your version of collecting, is you want to get all the Valve products, which, hey, good for you. I don't really see who the market is for, because a console does everything better, cheaper. Even with Xbox going up, they're not even close to the price tag. And a PC has Steam, and again, does everything cheaper and more powerful. So yeah, I don't think the numbers are going to be good, and I really think this might kind of finally like open Steam's eyes. Like, hey, this Steam Machine project that you've been working on, that you've been trying, just doesn't work because you just don't bring enough to. You're not revolutionary enough. You're basically just saying play a console but with less games.
Yeah. I'm curious to see the future now with Xbox and PlayStation. Where does PlayStation now start to begin to direct themselves when it comes to, hey, Valve isn't going to be able to take this. How can we gain that fandom? Or do they just PlayStation might just do what PlayStation does, keep pumping out single player exclusives, and that's enough to draw them in, right? Nintendo does the same thing. Nintendo does what Nintendo does, and it works. So maybe PlayStation are looking at that too. But here's the huge opportunity for Xbox to come in and sweep that mind share away and those players, right? It's a huge opportunity for Xbox. I just wonder, because here's Xbox, as of Xbox lately, is 1 step forward and 5 steps backwards. So can they stop shooting themselves in the foot and lead? Because they're always, well, we're in third place, we can't get here, we can't do this, we can't do that, we're losing. Here's a huge opportunity. Even if you take a loss on the device, which they normally do when they first launch these hardware devices, take a huge loss, pull us all in and give us that reason, right? But now you're shutting down studios. Like, there's so many things up in arms and just up in the air that the uncertainty is huge right now in the gaming space when it comes to what all these big companies are looking to do next. So, man, yeah, it's going to be an interesting 6 months to see where we're at, right? When it comes to next-gen consoles, next-gen hardware. Is there enough to pull people over? People are still enjoying the hell out of their PS5 and their Series X and S, right? Series S is starting to struggle, though. We're starting to see that, which made it a huge opportunity for Valve to pull these people in to say, hey, you can get Xbox Game Pass on the Steam machine. You can go this way, still keep your library, come on over here, and then you're still in the living room space. Instead, they shot the price through the freaking roof, and everyone's like, hell no, I ain't paying this. Bizarre, dude, bizarre. Speaking of gaming, we're at the end of the show, Michael. We got a few minutes left, and before we wrap up, we always like to do this Indie Spotlight feature, where we highlight 2 indie titles for everybody to check out. I'm going to let you go first, because I'm curious about this one myself.
Yeah, I'm going to have a full review on our site, hopefully by the time you see this podcast, unless you're on the Substack. So tomorrow on Friday, if you're watching us right now, I'm going to have my full review live for Sand Raiders of Sophie. Been a very interesting game. I'm going to have a lot to say. It's very, very interesting. It's an extraction shooter, which when I heard that, I kind of groaned a little bit. But it started to grow on me because the hook is, instead of the standard, I'm on the ground, I'm running around. You're in a giant freaking mech. That is the hook. It's so awesome. I love the mech gameplay. Absolutely been having a blast with some buddies and I dropping in, dunking on some people. We were trying to extract last night with a little bit too much. We got a little greedy and we got taken out right at the extraction zone. Always hate to see it, but it is a ton of fun. The mech gameplay is a blast. Again, if you're looking for an extraction shooter, but you're looking for something different because everybody seems to be in this space, check out Sand Raiders of Sophie. Again, I don't want to give away too much because I'm going to have my full review going live tomorrow. There's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows with this game, Drew. It's got me kind of a little messed up where I want to rate it. But if you're looking for that next extraction shooter itch, but you don't want to be boots on the ground like everybody else, check out Sand Raiders of Sophie.
Which is funny because I just came off of Mistfall Hunter too, right? They had the demo up for Steam Next Fest. And I jumped in, and that's another extraction game, but different, right? I highlighted this, I believe, last week on the show. But it's a melee focus instead, and it feels like very Elden Ring-esque, right? So for me, I was hooked. I was all in. I'm like, this is one of the sickest games in a long time. That feels so different. We're so tired of the typical shooter, right? That FPS shooter. Is it third person or first person?
Third person.
It's third person?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm very curious. I'll be checking out the review too, of course, because I want to see. I've had some questions, and this game has been a bit of a rocky.
It's
up and down period, right? So it's
the release had me concerned, delayed, missed the release timing, the first 8 hours, I don't think the game really worked. Luckily, I hopped in a little later in the day. Everything was working. So, yeah, I'll cover a lot in my review when it goes live because I've got a lot to say, Drew, about this game. But
Very cool.
I will say the mechs are freaking awesome, man.
Man, there was a game called Last Oasis. I don't know if anybody remembers this one. It's made by Donkey Crew, who now works on and creating Bellwright. So Last Oasis was you would go out with your friends. It's a survival game, so it's not an extraction game, but it's a survival game. But you'd build these big walkers.
Ooh.
But then it had PvP elements, but you go off and you face against other people. So all of a sudden you got this group, these clans of walkers and things like that went out, and then they're battling. Man, it was freaking cool. It was something else to see. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of that Last Oasis scenario where you're building these big mechs and stuff and going out. Like the walkers, man, they were sick. I spent so much time playing. It was a ton of fun. But yeah. All right, let's talk about my game, Michael, because I'm going for something a little bit more chill, way more relaxed, because I play a lot of intense games sometimes, and I just got tired of shooting people. Instead, I went off-roading. This is Over the Hill. This was over on the Steam Next Fest. I believe the demo is still up. You can go check that out as well. And it is a 4x4 adventure of exploration that is chill. It is laid back. It's got this minimalist art style that I really, really appreciate. And it is meant for you just to sit back and relax with solo or up to 3 of your friends. And you go out and you're looking for these other areas of points of interest to go and explore and see what you can find there and see what you can learn here and this kind of thing. But it's crossing the terrain. So for those who don't know, my wife has a Jeep. We often will go off-roading in it. So we actually like air down the tires and things like that to go rock climbing. It's an absolute blast. So when this came up, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll play in this. And I've really enjoyed it. You got to take it out of, you take your e-brake off and then you set out. And it's on, you can go manual or you can go automatic. It's completely up to you which way you want to go. Automatic, obviously a little bit easier. I went manual because then you go much lower speed to hit some tougher spots. You can use your winch, so then you pull yourself and you loop it to a tree. Then you flip some things over, and then you can upgrade it, and you can customize your vehicle to the way you want it with antennas, colors, this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's just something if you're looking for something to relax, chill out with your friends, hang out. I'd check out Over the Hill. It's been a fun time, and I've had a good time, and I'm curious to see it upon the full release. It's supposed to launch later this year. No official release date yet, but there is, I believe, the demo's still live, so you might have a bit of time before they take it down. But yeah, highly recommend it. Go check that out. It's been a ton of fun. So, Michael, this has been a ton of fun as well, dude. Always fun hanging out with you, talking about the industry. There's always something for us to dive into because it's just a hot space to be in sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's always some crazy news we've got to cover, and then we still don't have enough time to cover all the crazy stuff.
No, that's for sure. But if you haven't caught us yet, go check out the gamerstheory.com website, or you can go check us out at the gamerstheory.com/Substack. If you join us over on Substack, we actually send out a newsletter each and every day, Monday to Friday. Actually, it's like more of Tuesday to Saturday. And you can get caught up with the day's news, and you can join us and hang out there and to talk about everything. But it's makes it easier for everybody to just kind of get it all in one spot. So that way you not have to keep coming back to the site or this, that, and the other. Instead, just pops right in your inbox, and away you go. And we got some other features coming up here shortly for those who are interested in supporting us financially to then grow this as well. But yeah, we got some things we're cooking. But until next time, everybody, thank you for watching Theory Unlocked. This has been the Gamerz Theory Podcast. And until next time, I'm Drew, that's Michael, and we'll see you next week on Theory Unlocked. See you, everybody.